Appreciation Week, it's the fact that some of your suggestions can actually take on a mind of their own, whether it be based around the discovery process or the actual video making process, or just taking one of the ideas and having it morph in your mind into something a little bit different. I've had a lot of people ask me, what are 10 bad albums that I actually really like, you know, kind of like guilty pleasures or something like that. And as I was thinking about this, and it's a list I may still make one day in the future, I started thinking about all of the songs that we used to love whenever we were younger, especially if you're as old as I am, that are actually really, really terrible. Either that, or they just really haven't stood the test of time, or the meaning behind them has changed. So let's do a top 10 list of that. No 10 awesome songs this week. Instead, we have 10 terrible ones. How does that sound? It sounds good to me, so let's get rolling. Number 10, and I'm going to catch flack for this, and I don't give two craps. Enter Sandman by Metallica. Whenever this song came out, it signaled a huge change for Metallica. It signaled that they were definitely a different band than what they had been for their first 4 albums. But whenever this single took on a mind of its own and became really a poster child for the Black Album, this was something that transformed Metallica's career. They went from being a very important member of the thrash metal universe to becoming one of the largest metal/rock and roll bands of all time, with the Black Album sales ranking within the top 5 of all time, and some actually say it's number 1 in America. But this is a song that, as it's aged, it's been played simply to death, and it's just simply not one that has the lasting value of or charm as a Master or Puppets, song of that variety, or even one. This is one that the more that it's been overplayed, the more you start to realize how tired and somewhat dated it is, and even for its time, it kind of signaled the fact that the band was going for a little bit more of a simplistic sound. Still rocks the house down, but it's definitely a song that some people would probably be more prone to say a song like King Nothing, either that or, I don't know, I Disappear, but I look at Enter Sandman simply because it's considered to be legendary, and it's one that just really doesn't stand the test of time very well. Number 9, Through the Fire and Flames by Dragonforce. This was a track that, of course, everyone was obsessed with based off of Guitar Hero, not to mention the fan base of the band in general, but the more that you listen to it, the more you realize that this is just a trademark song from the band's sound, and it's not even close to their best work. In fact, this is one that's kind of just middle of the road. Everybody thought that this song was fantastic and thought that this song was excellent based around the fact that it was a challenge. It was based around the fact that it was on a game, and it was unlike any of the other tracks, sparing a couple of few, that you heard on that game. On Guitar Hero, you heard a lot of challenging tracks that had some competition or some, difficult value to it, but then you got to this beast, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. This is something that translated with Dragonforce getting a lot of fans, and it was also something that made a lot of those fans realize that, well, they're kind of just an okay band. This song hasn't aged very well, principally because comparative to some of their other discography, or their other songs from their discography, it's just really kind of middle of the road. It's not nearly as awesome as it used to be, and it's one that, if you try to play it with a real guitar, well, there's a good chance that you might have a little bit more success than with that dinky plastic thing. Number 8, we have Rockstar by Nickelback. None of these lists would be complete without Nickelback on them, right? Oh, God. This is one of those tracks that just was absolutely inescapable whenever it first came out, and actually to this day, it's still an old Nickelback single that they play a whole hell of a lot more than they probably ought to. If they played a song like How You Remind Me or something like that every once in a while to break the freaking monotony, I could understand. But with Nickelback, this is basically just the signal of the sea change. This is one constant, one consistent reminder of what Nickelback really became in the 2000s, where they basically became the AC/DC of the 2000s. And of course, I'm talking about the AC/DC after Back in Black, and essentially has been making the same album over and over and over and over again. You know what happens whenever you do that? You do sell a lot of records, and you keep a lot of fans happy. But it's strange how Nickelback has had this kind of reverse effect to AC/DC, which makes my head fucking spin, because AC/DC, the fans recognized after Back in Black that nothing was really going to top it. But instead, with Nickelback, the fans are still coming out, and it's basically because it's a carbon copy. It's almost like they wrote all 10,000 songs that they've released in this age, and just have been supplementally dropping the recordings, that way people could hear it. This is a track that just grows very tedious, very tiring, and really it's one that's spoken very much like a dream that has come true, but at the same time, lyrically, it doesn't offer much. Number 7, we have Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry. I liked Buck Cherry for Lit Up, I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed that song. I don't give a crap if it was all about cocaine and I was in my teens. I never did cocaine. The song didn't make me do cocaine. I still don't want to do cocaine, even though some of you probably think I'm on cocaine. I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. But whenever Crazy Bitch came out, this track was immediately something that was grasped upon by everybody. It was grasped upon by men because they wanted their woman to be a crazy bitch. It was grasped upon by women because they wanted to believe that they were a crazy bitch, but then if anything crazy remotely happened, you would see the light switch flick and they'd be like, "Hey, don't do that to me, you son of a bitch!" And that's kind of the problem. This song had an associative value all of its own. It's one that transformed people for no freaking reason, and it gave Buck Cherry the one thing Buck Cherry really didn't need, or music really didn't need from Buck Cherry, and that was a second era of relevance. This is a track that attracts a lot of different things at concerts. It attracts some crowd surfing, naked girls, usually not the ones that you want to see, by the way. We're talking rotund boss. And we also have the obligatory speech at the beginning of the song where their singer has to talk about some crazy situation that he was in with some crazy bitch. Good for him. Who gives a crap? Your song is dated. It was tired. It wasn't all that good to begin with. Have a nice day and fuck off kindly. Number 6, we have Linkin Park with In the End. Whenever this song came out, it was pretty awesome considering it was something that was a little bit different. It was something that just, you know, Linkin Park's sound is not all that complicated in their earliest stages unless you examine, say, you know, their remix album. But within the end, this was one that was kind of a bit of a slower track, either that or one that kind of blended that rap and that rock side very, very well. And then it just took off and became this poster child of emo culture. This is one really that's been ruined by fans, it's been ruined by detractors, it's been ruined by memes, it's been ruined by the internet, it's been ruined by just about everything. And what happens is that the value of this song disassociates itself very, very quickly and completely ruins the meaning, not to mention it makes the song borderline unlistenable whenever it comes onto the radio. This is a track that you immediately just want to forget. You want to actually change the station based around it being on there. Either that or sing it like enough said. Number 5, Maroon 5 with Moves Like Jagger. I have not heard a modern song that was more irritating and everywhere than this annoying piece of junk. You could maybe even say Payphone was worse, but Moves Like Jagger was probably worse considering not only was it everywhere, but we have a second edition of this song that was available with Christina Aguilera on it. Oh, thank you. That's exactly what we fucking needed. We needed Maroon 5, which had a great debut with songs about Jane, but have steadily gone to the toilet and spun around and flushed themselves down ever since then, to do a song with Christina Aguilera, whose career peaked in the middle part of the 2000s, and then promptly did the same. Thanks a lot, Hollywood. I really appreciate it. And what the hell is with all of these people in these little trendy rock and pop groups where they need to be judges on, you know, they need to judge talent on these talent shows? You barely have talent yourselves. You're using a lot of industry tools. I understand Christina Aguilera has a natural voice. She's from Pittsburgh. You should support her, Mark. I understand that Adam Levine and Maroon 5 are a great band and blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I really don't give a crap. The song was garbage. The song is making reference to Mick Jagger. Kesha did that too. Doesn't make the Kesha song any better, so screw you. It sucks. It sucked then. It actually sucks now. The only problem is that whenever it came out, people liked it, and now people are like, I don't want to freaking hear it. Number 4. Oh my god. Picture by Kid Rock. Whenever Kid Rock came out with songs such as Devil Without a Cause and Ba with the Ba, the bang a dang diggy diggy, Diggy said your boogie, sit up, junkie boogie. Everybody loved Kid Rock. Kid Rock was great. He was right alongside. He was a contemporary of Eminem. Everything seemed hokey pokey in the Kid Rock nation. Detroit looked like it was going to be the hotbed, the next hotbed rather, of rap, whether it be white or black. And then somewhere along the lines, Kid Rock just decided that Cowboy off of Devil Without a Cause was his new identity, and he was gonna rap every so often, but mainly he was just gonna make wimpy country rock and decide to be a southern rock band. And all of a sudden, people started caring a lot more. All of a sudden, he got this crossover hit with Picture, and all of a sudden, this song was everywhere. I would put this side by side by Follow Me by Uncle Kracker, considering they basically could be companion songs, and they're equally as freaking annoying. The only difference is that the first couple times I heard Picture by Kid Rock, it actually sounded like a fairly nice song. It sounded like one that really, it just posed itself as something different, and then you realize that Kid Rock started to base his career off of this sound, and that's when the value started to denigrate quite a bit. This was one that actually was denigrated by the career choice of the artist, and it was also denigrated by the fact that everybody and their second cousin decided that this was the song that they needed to use in order to describe their relationship or some other stupid thing in their life. And we're going to have to talk about this idea once again before this list is said and done. But at the same time, good freaking gracious gravy, God, this was fucking maniacal. And this is a track that still will get traction to this day on any popular radio station if you wait long enough and they need something to cool the mood down. Screw that. Number 3, we have Nookie by Limp Bizkit. Everybody thought this song was cool whenever it came out. If you say that you didn't, you're a freaking liar. You are a freaking liar. I am directly assaulting you with this information. You're a fucking liar. You should go to confession, and then you should jack off all over the priest. Then you should clean it up with your face, and then you should confess your sins again for being a dirty little piece of fuck. This song, whenever it came out, everybody and their second cousin's mothers, brothers, grandmother thought was amazing. Whenever it was a track that was all about Fred Durst essentially saying that he did it all just to get laid. Good for you, Fred. You're still conceptually 13 years old, and this song, whenever you listen to it, like 1 to 2 years later, or if you examine any of Limp Bizkit's further work after this, or you listen to it right now, you start to realize, man, we really like some stupid shit in the 1990s. We like some really stupid shit whenever nu metal was relevant. We really just like some stupid shit in general. And this one is a perfect existing proof of that fact. Man, this track just kind of totally encapsulates what Limp Bizkit was all about, trying to sound hard and edgy while also trying to deliver the message that Fred Durst is all about the ladies and really gives a crap about them and loves them, and would never just do it all about, he would do it just for the nookie, the nookie, so let me take that cookie and stick it up your, stick it up your, stick it up your, stick it up your, fuck you. Stupidest lyrics in history, go away and die. Number 2, Kiss with Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day. The first time I heard the song, it was magic, and then I kept hearing it over and over and over again, and then I met Kiss fans, and that just made it even worse. Kiss is an overrated band. I don't give two craps who you are or what you think. They are overrated. The only reason why you don't think so is because you're a huge fan of the band and you think that that's impossible. Guess what? It is not impossible. In fact, it's very possible. Gene Simmons is a huge douchebag that has absolutely no relevance in society, but somehow still finds his way and weasels his way into relevance in society by being a stupid asshole that can't keep his mouth shut. And then you have this track. Then you have this track that 40 years later has not aged very gracefully. It's one that sounds just as corny as it was whenever it came out, but it came out in an era where that was A-okay. That was something that actually issued a little bit of rebellion because rock and roll all night and partying every day actually had a little bit of value. Now it's something where you got to get crunk all night, and you have to do the scissor every day, and you got to roll up and do this and roll blunts and blah 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 blah. It has no relevance today. It really doesn't, and it's not all that good of a song. Whenever you examine some of the other party songs that you hear, listen to Municipal Waste. Listen to The Art of Partying by Municipal Waste. Kills freaking Kiss. All I'm going to say, the song just is tired and dated, and it ain't because it's old, it's just because it wasn't that good to begin with, but was a great anthem for the time that for some strange reason became timeless, even though it really shouldn't have. It should have had the same relevance as Beth. Number 1, Green Day with Time of Your Life. I remember this song came out, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. It was a bit of something different from the band. It was a ballad-style song, and it had a great message behind it. That would have been well enough and good. It really would have been. It would have been something that would have been a nice little single, could have been the single of the year, whatever it is, and that could have been the end of it. No. Instead, you now will hear the song if you attend a graduation, whether it be high school, college, kindergarten, whether it be for 7th or 8th grade, postgraduate. You could hear this at a funeral, at a bar mitzvah. You could hear this at a wedding. Hell, you might even hear it at a birth. You might hear it at some dude's softball convention. You might hear it at the United Iron Workers, end of the year banquet. You might hear it at some chick's freaking recital just because you learned it on a guitar and decided she wants to say, I hope you have the time of your... Who the hell gives a crap? This song was literally everywhere. This song existed on a perpetual loop at every major event in people's lives, whether it was positive or negative. It was a song that has to be played played. It's a song that has to be played. It's almost a requirement. DJs had to have like a hot button or a hot key on their laptop computers to play Time of Your Life by fucking Green Day. And of course the result was the fact that the oversaturation just completely destroyed this song to the point where if you hear it, you immediately want to throw something at the DJ. Or if you're at a wedding, you want to walk up to the married couple and say, hey, you stupid pieces of crap, you wanted to hear this song? Well, guess what? I hope your marriage is littered and plagued with disease, with children that just die whenever they are born, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, you're walking down the street and a bus just hits you. A bus just hits you. But guess what? You stay alive. That's the positive side. You stay alive, only to die 3 days later after your wife gets hit by the same bus. I know, bad luck, isn't it? And she's in that hospital room right next to you. You're about to make a miracle recovery, then you see her there and then you just die. And then she sees that you're dead and she just dies. Thanks. Time of your life. Have the time of your life getting hit by the same goddamn bus. Isn't that romantic? God damn. This song actually perpetuates rage out of so many individuals, not just myself. It's something that is timeless and legendary as the song itself has become. Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 10 terrible songs that we once loved. And for us to admit that we did not, or to say that we did not, makes us terrible liars that all need to confess our sins, even if we're atheists. Because we did, we supported this machine, and now we instantly regret doing so. Thank you, and good night. If you liked what you saw and heard, like, subscribe, follow the page. Whew, I need a towel.